motions and briefs filed by the others. That's certainly fine, sir. And I would welcome any other comments you have today.
Yes, briefly. I'm listed on this motion in limine with a bunch of other people, some of whom I now know, but prior to that I didn't know. And every time I was arrested by the Capitol Police, I was surrounded by a group of people I didn't know. I always came by myself and found that there was a larger group than a single individual singing. So I was a member, I guess I was a participant of a group, but I don't know what the group is, and I don't know if it was 20 or if it was 150. I find it kind of curious that for a while I couldn't get into my state capitol. I was prohibited by the police from getting in, and when I get in, then I'm asked to leave. And I think that's, you know, one day I grabbed onto the shoulder of the felon Scott Jensen and followed him into the building. And when the policeman put his hand on my shoulder, of course I did exactly what I did in the 3 cases when I was arrested in the Capitol, which was to follow the policeman's motions and in that case left the building. We had a question of noise that was addressed here today. That's kind of curious in that the State Capitol Police introduced a long-range acoustic device, a device that was developed for keeping terrorists away from our ships, like the Cole. And that was brought into our state capitol and used as its announcement mechanism to us who were singing. We were making quite a lot of noise, but it didn't compare with the long-range acoustic device. And I think they have to answer for that as well. That was abusive to begin with. The reason I was there was, and I'm wearing it on my button and I'll take it off if I may, the right of the people peaceably to assemble. That's why I was there. And I acted peaceably. If singing's a crime, I'm a criminal. I was thinking, well, I'll leave it at that. And I appreciate you joining me in the other motions with the other attorneys.
You know, that would be fine, Mr. Recking. Ms. Weezy, any specific response?
No, other than I do recognize that in Ms. Ishikawa's case and Mr. Raking's case, that they have joined in other motions, and I wonder if the court would like me to submit basically the 3 basic briefs that have been submitted to the court to those parties who are not represented by counsel. I'd be happy to do that so that they can see the responses that the state had filed to the other motions that they are incorporating.
Well, I appreciate that offer. If I won't require that you do that, Ms. Weezy, I certainly file a lot of things here, and if either Mr. Recking, if you'd like
I
to
don't need it.
If you'd like to get copies, or Ms. Ishikawa, please just tell Ms. Weezy and she will send you those. We'll deem both of you to have joined in the other motions. Ms. Weezy, just a brief follow-up, kind of factually to what Mr. Recking says. I'm circling back now to the point that I raised before. He says he showed up by himself. Yes, he was generally aware things were going on. He's gotten to know people through that and so forth. But let's assume he shows up. Let's assume he doesn't know how many people are going to be there. Let's assume he doesn't know whether somebody's gotten a permit or not. Is that consistent with the First Amendment right to freely assemble, to think that he could be cited for an unlawful assembly where he didn't know how many people were going to be there and he didn't know if somebody had a permit or didn't have a permit?
I think the answer is the same answer as similar inquiries by the court, that it was addressed by Judge Connolly. Excuse me. When a spectator is informed that an act is illegal, that then it is their choice to remove or continue in that unlawful assembly. And just to note, I think being able to tell the difference between a group of 20 and 150 is pretty readily discernible.
That part of it is, but on the other hand, he wouldn't necessarily know whether somebody had a permit or didn't get a permit.
He would when the assembly is declared unlawful.
All right, well, thank you, Ms. Weezy, and thank you, Mr. Blake.
Thank you.
We've got